Hello and welcome to this new Dota Underlords video. Today, we are checking out part 2 of the big update previews for new heroes and alliances. So yesterday we saw the first part, and today the developers are coming out with the second. So as you can see, there is no intro here, so I guess let us follow the cues and dive right into it. So we can see 3 heroes here. This is Magnus, this is Legion Commander, and this is Lifestealer. So a very interesting choice of heroes. I don't think I'm going to, sit and theory craft what they're going to be right away. Instead, I'm going to check them out first down here, and then say what I think. So first of all, we've got Legion Commander, a new alliance called Champion. For some reason, she's apparently the only one who is there. That's a very interesting choice. So she's a human champion. Champions receive all alliance bonuses. Alright, so basically this means when you have, for example, warriors, hunters, and let's say warlocks on your team, and you have one champion, which means you already need to be level 9. That's very interesting. So when that happens, your champion will have plus 10 armor from warriors. It will have the chance to do extra attacks from hunters, and it will have the warlock bonus, where if you cast a spell, you're healing yourself and as well as someone else. That's very interesting. There's a lot of potential here. Like, potential I can think of is like absolutely crazy. You can fit it into assassins. You can fit it into. I'm not sure how it will fit into mages, because I'm not sure if it does magical damage or not. Probably not, because I see right down here is dual. So everything except mages, you just add this hero, and basically it's a free +1 for every alliance you have. And by +1, I mean +1 recipient, not +1 contributor, obviously. Like, I'm guessing what this means is that it doesn't contribute to any alliances, so you'll still need 3 warriors plus Legion Commander in order for the Legion Commander to receive the warrior bonus. But yeah, this means basically you can just add it on top of anything and it will work. Maybe there will be some interesting compositions that revolve around Legion Commander. It's hard to say right now. There aren't too many bonuses that give like powerful attack damage. There are some that give attack speed. There are some like a critical strike. There is survivability as well. I'm guessing she will receive knight bonuses as well if you have that. So pretty much can fit into knights, warriors, hunters, assassins, whatever you like. Just whatever you have, except mages, just slap it on top, and you've got hero with all of the different bonuses. And interestingly enough, it becomes more and more powerful in late game as it levels up. As you level up and add more units, you get more alliances. So your champion here receives even more bonuses. It could definitely be worth 3-starring this way, since it's so powerful in the late game. But at the same time, you don't want to 3-star it because you want to level up to give it more bonuses. So an interesting little dilemma there, Duel. Legion Commander targets the lowest health enemy, and they are forced to attack each other. If either hero dies during the duration, the hero winning the duel gains permanent bonus damage. So yeah, it works exactly like Duel does in Dota as well. Your hero and one of the opponent's heroes can't do anything except attack each other for the duration. Then it ends. If it ends when no one dies, nothing happens. But if someone dies, the other one receives permanent bonus damage. So I guess this means that damage is permanent even after combat, so it will stay for the rest of the game. That's a very interesting concept. That is something I don't think they've toyed with yet. So I'm very intrigued to see how this will play out, but the implications are obvious. So if you have, let's say, an assassin bonus, and then your Legion Commander does critical strike from those alliances, then it doodles everyone, constantly duels enemies, constantly gets bonus damage with the help of this critical strike, and then ultimately it could become completely unstoppable. But if you don't have the right setup, and it keeps dueling and dying instead, or not receiving anything, this will be kind of tricky to use, to say the least. Alright, so next one. Lifestealer and Magnus are ready to join your crew with their Brute Alliance. Okay, so I guess these things like Axe and Doom here are no longer be warriors, and instead will be brutes, as well as Treant Protector. I'm not sure if this means he won't be an elusive anymore, or a druid. I'm guessing he will keep both elusive and druid alliances, because again there are only 4 druids, and why not give him elusive? Great synergy with Nature's Prophet. Might get rid of it, but I think it could be fine as is. Even though Treant Protector is obscenely powerful, so perhaps they could get rid of that to make it slightly weaker and fit into fewer comps, because it's kind of a bread and butter of a lot of compositions right now, this tree man. So, Brute Alliance. Whenever Brute Alliance attacks an enemy, they deal additional damage and apply damage debuff. Brutes prefer to attack enemies that do not have the debuff. Whenever a brute attacks an enemy, they deal additional damage and apply a damage debuff. Brutes prefer to attack enemies that do not have the debuff. Okay, so this should mean that every brute, basically, it runs towards an enemy, it attacks one enemy, then it switches to attacking another, and so on and so on and so on until every enemy has that debuff. That's a very interesting mechanic. Like, imagine Axe actually running around and doing something like that. I think that would be hilarious, actually. That's a very interesting concept. The applications are once again unclear, so the bonus damage, I'm guessing. Oh wait, damage debuff. Does this mean that the enemies will deal less damage when debuffed like that? That is actually very interesting. So basically, the enemies try to attack as many enemies as possible, and try to reduce damage output of every enemy. That's what I'm guessing is going to happen. Okay. So another interesting thing, Brute kind of sounds like Brawny. So does this mean that Brawnies are getting replaced? Or will they still stay and Axe basically becomes a Brawny Brute? That's an interesting sentence to say, for sure. So as you can see, the Alliance bonuses, so I'm guessing these things here, the bars actually correspond to what will happen in real game. So the Alliance is activated at 2 and 4. So you could assemble, I'm guessing, 4 brutes, and the result will be that they will basically very quickly reduce the damage output of every enemy. Much quicker, and depending on how significant the reduction is, then they just overwhelm the enemy with more powerful attacks and their larger health pools, I'm guessing, because these 4 heroes here are kind of tanky in Dota. Even Lifestealer and Magnus, not as tanky as Axe and Doom, but still pretty tanky. So I'm guessing it will translate to them having also great health and armor in Underlords as well. So let's see, Lifestealer. Feast. Okay, so Feast is a passive ability. Lifestealer attacks damage enemies and heal him for a percentage of his target's maximum health. So yeah, both bonus damage from this ability and the health he receives are a percentage of the target's maximum health. Not just heal. The wording is a tiny bit awkward here, but yeah, also the damage dealt to the enemies also based on a percentage of their health. So in Dota, this damage is physical, and Well, it makes Lifestealer one of the strongest late game carries, actually, because he can win a one-on-one fight against pretty much anyone. Obviously, there are stronger carries who can beat him anyway, but Lifestealer is pretty high up there. And he is also heartless, which means he can reduce the enemy armor so that Feast hits harder, obviously. Uh, if my memory serves me right, I think the healing he receives from Feast doesn't depend on how much armor the enemy has, on how much damage it actually deals. The healing and damage are separate, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But amplifying that damage with Heartless, like having 4 Heartless, for example, I think it could be worthwhile, definitely. Now, it's interesting. I'm guessing they want you to have either have both brutes and warriors at the same time, or maybe hunters and brutes, or maybe hunters, brutes, warlocks, something along those lines, perhaps, or hunters, brutes, healers, maybe. That could be an interesting composition. Uh, having perhaps Lifestealer, Necropose, and then maybe something like uh, Axe to complete the Brute Alliance, and then healers, early healers like Mr. Warlock and Enchantress. Or maybe, maybe like Axe, Necropose, Enchantress, Tree Protector, maybe Dazzle, maybe Mr. Warlock. So that results in 3 healers and 2 Brutes and 2 Heartless. And then on top of that, I guess you could add, I don't know, whatever you feel like. Abaddon, Pudge, Drow Ranger, something with Fall from Grace, maybe. And then Lifestealer should be dealing major damage. Because, Feast in Dota is not insignificant. It becomes less and less significant the less health the enemy has, but he still has his regular attack damage, which can still finish them off, even if Feast basically does no damage and doesn't heal them at all. And the last one is Magnus, so Shaman Brute. He has Empower, as you can see here, Shaman Brute, so again, Shaman Synergy becomes easier to complete. And now that they actually have a melee Shaman, who's supposed to be kind of tanky, I imagine, this means that he makes Shaman Synergy a lot easier to use, basically. So another tier 2 hero. Remember, yesterday we got 2 different tier 2 heroes, and today we have one more. So Magnus enrages an ally, granting them damage and cleave temporarily. Yeah. So exactly the same thing as it was in Dota. Just Empower, an attack damage buff that also causes them to cleave. So their attacks to cleave, similar to Battle Fury. The cleave doesn't work for ranged units, obviously, so Magnus is better paired off with some high attack damage melee hero, such as Lifestealer, for example. Because in Dota, the damage from Feast can also cleave. This is different. This is different from most other attack modifiers, because usually cleave affects only regular attack damage. Critical strikes are an exception. Critical strikes can cleave as well, but something like Bash, for example, from Skull Basher, the bonus damage from that cannot cleave. So I'm guessing it's going to be the same in Dota. I'm very curious about the interaction between Magnus and Lifestealer. Like, if the Feast damage actually cleaves, Lifestealer could very quickly rack up insane amounts of damage, basically. Another thing, obviously, could do is pair up with Luna, even though Luna doesn't cleave. Having high attack damage means that, she will do insane, ridiculous amounts of damage, basically, to every enemy. Basically the same thing as Big Time Contract, pretty much, except maybe smaller in scale. Another thing is Medusa, of course, and for melees we have Chaos Knight, we have Slardar, somewhat. Doom does a lot of damage. Phantom Assassin, obviously, Magnus and Phantom Assassin are like basically best buddies in Dota. Maybe there will be some new heroes. Maybe I just can't remember something off the top of my head, but there is definitely a lot of potential with this ability, a lot of great combos, and interesting synergies that await us. So, looks like this is it for today. Very interesting choice of heroes indeed. It's not clear if there will be more heroes because, they promised something along the lines of 12, so we could still receive more tomorrow. So I think tomorrow I'll actually take a bit of a break and not make a video and then make another one with all of the new stuff that happened in 2 days on Monday. So thank you for watching this one. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing because that does help us out a lot. And yeah, see you in the next one. Goodbye and take care, everybody.